the first one of its kind. Okay, not the first. We fucked up on one a while back, but no one needed to know that.
Ah, yes, yes. But, yes. Uh, so, I think they all know who you are.
They know a little bit of me. I have not been on YouTube long enough.
Alright, well, you know who that guy is. If you watched any of his other videos, my name is Kin. I am here representing my own little community, Kpo, which is Kin's place of hangout.
Way to advertise at the beginning, but yes, we're. I can't blame you on that, but yes, we're here to address the whole Cal Bitwit fiasco, as well as talking about Anthem, whether or not that's going to flop or not.
Oh
It's
yes.
looking alright so far, but everyone's seen the so far has probably seen the videos. Jay's 2 cent has put up a video, Paul's Hardware, and I believe Linus Tech Tips, but I can't access that video currently. I don't know,
Yeah.
something to do with some kind of drama. Linus put up a video supposedly addressing the drama. I didn't really get to watch that,
Yeah.
so
I only watched like the
yeah.
first 3 minutes and I got bored. Because it was kind of
uh,
boring.
I'll probably pick it up
Don't
later just to see
copyright
what's what.
strike us, Linus. Come on. We're just small YouTubers.
But if anyone was paying attention to the PC craze when Ryzen was at its best, I suppose, and people were putting out like a lot of guide videos of how to build a PC. A channel called The Verge put out a video on how to build your first PC and everything, and the title of the video should have been how to do everything wrong, because at one point in the video they called zip ties a pair of tweezers. They commented on a pair of they told you would need a Swiss Army knife to build a PC, even though he used a Phillips head screwdriver the entire time. The power supply was flipped upside down. He
Oh
ne-
no, no, no! Don't make sure you put it on the pad so it doesn't come in contact with the with the case and short out your computer.
Yeah, so there was heat pumping into the case. For the actual all-in-one water cooler, they never put on the actual fan, so there was no point to even putting on the water cooler into the first place. And they used the long screws to actually mount the radiator, which they actually could have damaged the radiator, but
Yeah.
yeah, but everyone in the tech community put on their own video, basically making fun of them. Now, the reason they were so hardcore at making fun of them is because for everyone that was just getting into PC building around that time, if they were going off of this build guide, they might have damaged their first computer and swore off PC building forever because of this video.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's the reason everyone was so hardcore. But they were specific. But the Verge, they finally responded back specifically to Kyle Bitwit in his channel because of I guess how popular he is and how much traction his video got, and just making fun of that video that they put up. So right now he can't really put anything out new on on YouTube, but he's still putting up stuff on Floatplane.
Yeah.
So what are your takes on this exactly? How should have the Verge have responded, and
Okay.
uh,
This whole thing was just a disaster. I mean, everybody was making fun of it because it was just so bad. Okay. Now, usually what somebody does when they make a bad video and they realize it's a bad video, they take it down. Or they come out and say, hey, like at the beginning of the stream, yeah, we screwed up our last stream. But we didn't come out and just be like, oh no, we didn't screw it up. I don't know what you're talking about.
well,
We
it's
stated
not only that though. When they first put up the video, they actually disabled comments, so you couldn't
exactly.
even comment at the beginning of it. So they knew the video wasn't up to par, but they left it up anyway.
Yeah, it's I mean, I don't know why they left it up because it was. I mean, I guess by then the damage was already done, but
I mean, I believe they were monetizing the video, and Who was it sponsored by? I think it was sponsored by Capital One. I think.
Yeah, I think it was.
So
Yeah,
not only was it bad, but it was a sponsored video by Capital One that they actually paid money for that video, and it's like the worst things possible you could do to a computer when you first build it.
pretty much. Yeah.
So I'm just wondering how Capital One felt about it. Like if someone like thanks Adam. But if someone at Capital One who actually knows what they're doing with computers was watching that video and it's like, what the hell did we pay for? Oh, real quick, I didn't mention this at the beginning of the stream. We will curse during this podcast. So if you have any kids in the background, make sure they can't hear any of this.
We'll try and keep it somewhat clean, but
Somewhat.
it we slip up. It happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they could have just handled it a lot better. I think they could have came out with, a follow-up video after all the hype. Like, look, I know we messed up, and
showing a little humility instead of what they're doing.
I mean,
because
look at Jay's 2 cents. Look at how much he messes up. He makes fun of himself for it. It's great.
Yeah, and he's popular for it. I mean, he seems like an actual human being, and people like that. But with the Verger's response and everything, they're making their channel look a lot worse because instead of actually taking the video down, owning up to their mistakes, or even like Jay's 2 cents mentioned in his video, reaching out to any of the other YouTubers to make a comeback video about how they fucked up and here's how to do it right. That would have been a better approach. But now they're getting so much backlash from everyone who's made a video so far, the whole tech community on YouTube. Like now they're dumping on their Verges comments and everything. People are unsubscribing. They're just bringing a lot more negative attention than they should.
I mean, yeah, because right now, the way they're handling it, I will never go to the Verge for any kind of computer build and stuff ever again. Because
okay, I was subscribed to them at the beginning and everything.
But I mean, if they did come out with a video saying "Hey, we screwed up. Let's go ahead and show you how to really build a computer." I might have had some faith in them some more, But
I'm glad I'm recording right now, just because I'm looking at the stream on my end, and it is just like Skip City right now.
Okay, I wonder why it's so skippy.
It might be just because of the actual phone call taking a little bit of bandwidth away from the actual video.
Okay.
Call. I mean, any more comments on the whole Verge and Cowbit before we move on?
See, okay. So we never really even got into the morality of what they're doing. Something I'd like to touch on is it's scare tactics at this point. It's saying, "Oh yeah, you better not say anything bad about us, or we'll copyright strike you." That's kind of where it's going at this point. If you put up a video on YouTube, you shouldn't be afraid. If you put a parody, or if you put up something that's not the greatest about a company, you shouldn't have to be afraid of them ruining your channel with a copyright strike.
I mean, something similar happened I want to say about 2 months back, where a YouTube channel was making a lot of reviews specifically about a beta game that was coming out, and he was very positive about the actual development of the game, but he would also highlight a lot of the mistakes because he wanted the game to succeed. He was was trying to let the developers know, like, hey, this isn't working right. We should probably fix this. But all in all, he was very positive about it. Now they happened to see like one of his videos that was not as in the best light as they'd like. So they decided to copy strike not only his channel, but a copy strike on every single one of his videos, even though it was only one video in particular that caught their attention.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he eventually reached out to some of the tech gaming news reporters on YouTube, and his story got a lot of traction. And but because of that, a lot of people are just like not really supporting that game company anymore, and any support that they did have for their game development is just about gone now. So
Yeah,
like
I mean, that's kind of what I'm afraid of this turning into. Like, it's especially for us, like us up and coming YouTubers that, like, yeah, we're gonna have opinions. Like later on in the podcast, we're gonna have
well,
opinions about the Anthem. That's what it is.
okay, I'm glad at least we're technically small at this point because it's a lot of the more bigger YouTube channels that are really facing this kind of bullshit, so to speak.
Oh yeah, but it really is scary though. Like, if you put up a video, say you don't like the new Destiny game, you're just being completely honest. And
Yeah,
I mean, and you get a strike just for saying, "Hey, I don't like the
yeah,
game. I don't." You're gonna be
yeah.
afraid.
That's a good segue. Let's talk about the whole Destiny Warframe baby that just came out.
Uh,
I think it's a good way of putting it.
okay, it's technically not out yet. I mean, like,
Actually,
well, not for
yes, it is.
everyone. Well, technically, it is out for some people. That I think you have to
Everyone
pay
who
for
had
the
early
early access
access
or
on
whatever.
Origin early access and everything, then you have the game you're already playing and everything. Um, I participated in the live demo, the second live demo. The first one was apparently pretty bad. On Friday, when people logged in, they were experiencing so many glitches. The game was completely unplayable.
Yeah, I mean, but that's with any new release. Like, especially if it's. Come on. The demo was a stress test. It was to test if everything was
Yes,
going to work out.
that is true, but they did not tell the public that. I mean, yes, they told everybody during a live stream that this was still going to have a lot of bugs, but this was a way for them to experience the game. But for some reason, a lot of people just simply forgot that fact somehow.
Pretty much, yeah.
But they called this a demo, so people were expecting this to be a lot more polished. But they had a lot of long loading screens. The game kept crashing. You kept being booted out of matches. Like there was just a lot of bugs. Like right at like the first launch of the demo.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, if they would have been transparent with it, like, especially another thing is, I think YouTubers are kind of out on the hunt for bad games like now, and
That's definitely true to an extent, but I think it's a little bit more than that. Just because EA has garnered a lot of disdain, like over the last couple of years, especially during 2018. I mean, by the end of 2018, EA had lost half of its stock, like just because of the bad press, like from the last couple games during last year.
so
So this is basically their make it or break it. Like if Anthem is bad, then I'm not really sure where E is really going to end up.
yeah. And I mean, I've watched a few videos. Yeah, it does seem like a really fun game. I mean, the monetization is something everybody's hot under the collar about. Like, yeah, I guess they reduced the price from the
Well,
demo.
during the demo, they gave you a set amount of in-game coin to actually
Oh,
use
okay.
on cosmetics and whatever,
Gotcha.
but that wasn't really implemented in the demo whatsoever. The actual cash shop and monetization and stuff. So, but later on, supposedly it was leaked about the prices of how much the actual javelin were going to cost and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and prices at first the leak prices were like $20 to get a new javelin, and but the thing that bothers a lot of people is that they don't think it was really a leak. They think they put it out themselves,
Uh-huh.
testing the market to see if how people would react to a $20 price, and then come back. It's like no, no, it's not $20. It's only $10.
And
So like
yeah.
so then they seem like the EA good guy over here watching out for the gamers, when it could be just really them just testing the market, see what they can get away with.
Yeah. I mean, and to keep in mind, this is only cosmetic. Like you can't, right? You can't buy like an actual, you know.
Well, no, they were talking about being able to buy a javelin outright.
Okay, I got you. So you would actually, it's not just cosmetics. You could just.
I mean, I could be wrong, so I'll look it up later to be sure.
Okay.
It could be just like it could be more of a skin, but even still, I think $10 for a skin is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, but Warframe allows you to buy different Warframes if you don't want to, um, if you don't want to grind out the parts for it.
I mean, to be honest, I don't know what's really the cost to buy like a new Warframe on the game. Like, yes, I've definitely been playing it, but I haven't put any money
But the
into it.
thing is, from the demo, it doesn't look like you buying this new Javelin is going to make you any more powerful than
No, for the most
anything.
part, all the javelins are pretty balanced, in their own right. The my only real gripe with the game so far is actually just the flying. From what I heard, the actual controller support, if you're playing on a system or you have an Xbox controller hooked up to a PC, it's actually pretty good. But when I tried the actual just mouse to keyboard controls, flying the entire time felt like I was drunk. You had to basically just barely move the mouse in order to get it to turn correctly, and if you overshot it, you would basically spin out of control and start heading towards the ground.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I I thought I've heard that the flight was a little bit better in the newer demo. But
I mean, like I said, I didn't play the actual first demo. I played it during the second round, and there was a few updates for the demo. And that's another thing. They were talking about fixing the demo. That this was a 6-week old version of the actual
mm,
game,
yeah.
and if that was really the case, why didn't they just upload say the current version with just some of the stuff taken out versus having to fix the demo? It just felt like they still had a lot of bugs to work out during the actual main game, and they just didn't want to say just yet.
Yeah. I mean, oh, but I mean, I don't think it's damning. I don't think it damns it. Like, I don't think it's going
It,
to. I mean, that can be patched. I mean, every new game's
I'm
gonna have.
Yeah, this is issues every new game faces, but because it's EA, some people are hoping they fail. I mean, I've seen a lot of comments of just burn EA to the ground, just
See,
EA, no, don't buy. They're not even giving the actual game a chance. They just want EA to fail.
see, to be honest, before I started watching all these videos on just totally flaming Anthem, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong, and I just started noticing that some of them are just really, really unnecessarily harsh. Almost because, hey, it's cool to pick on the new guy. EA,
I mean,
well, he's not a new. EA's not crazy, but you know what I mean. Like, it seems
Yeah,
to be like,
but they cultivated this hate over like years. Like this is not something that sprang up out of nowhere. They're just like letting out all their frustration like for Anthem because they've been screwed over in the past so many times.
I think there is some. I think there is some people that are like putting a little bit more into hating them in their videos just to like come off and as oh, I hate EA, watch my videos, you know.
No, there's definitely plenty of people like they'll do a string of comments on several other videos about just basically no EA everything, and then put out their own video commenting basically the exact same thing, just trying to gain some traction for their channel. And like, I mean, I get it; they're trying to grow their channel and everything, but that's really not the best way to go about it. You're gonna ruin like a game and a company just to grow your channel. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, but like I just want reviewers to be fair with it, like
Well,
because I don't
you
like EA. I really don't. I was on the no pre-order. I was on the screw this game. Just don't go anywhere near it bandwagon a few weeks ago. But I don't know. I then I realized like it's not just EA's like that's gonna get screwed over here. It's going to be Bioware as well. So I don't know.
I, I I can't be mad at Bioware. I mean, they're just doing their job. They're trying to make the best game they can. I mean, they got screwed over with Andromeda when they basically just had their B team take the hold of the reins and didn't have like some of the I guess hardcore like veterans that have been like making games for quite some time and just really let that game go.
And I mean, another thing is that people are worried that there's not going to be enough content when it comes out. Like, there's not going to be. I heard there's what, three strongholds at the moment, which are pretty much like your dungeons, raid, whatever. Well, they're not a raid, but
I mean,
they're
I haven't.
like the strikes and stuff on Destiny.
Mhm.
It's where you're gonna get most of your good gear and like end game gear and all that.
I mean, there was talk about adding some extra content, like right at launch on the 22nd. I haven't looked into it, so I'm not really sure what they're adding. But I did hear that about 3 months from launch, that they're gonna have like a lot more added content. Like they're gonna have like another bit of the story and a whole bunch of a lot of other extras 3 months from the game's initial launch. But is the like strongholds and everything and the regular gameplay really gonna be enough to last about 3 months?
Well, that's what a lot of that's kind of what I'm worried about. Like, are people gonna get burnt out on it? Like, because there's gonna be the people that'll be top level in a few days. There's gonna be the people that will take 2 months or
Yeah, but
more.
the thing is with any other game that's not like doesn't have like EE backing and everything. This is a discussion people wouldn't really be having. They're just trying to see like, hey, is EA going to fail and everything.
Yeah. So
Like any other game that has come out over the last couple of months, it's either oh man, I can't wait to play this game. Like oh yeah, I just reached max level, but no one's really talking about like oh I'm bored of it. That what else is there going to be and everything. But it's just the reputation EA has that they're under a microscope right now.
I mean, as long as it's not pay to win, I could care less if like
Yeah.
cosmetics are like a little are expensive. Is like there's people out there that if they find it's worth it, that's fine. Whatever. But
At, at the at the very least for like the monetization stuff, I don't think anything should be over $10.
and another thing is a big problem I have with Destiny is I'm really wondering like when new content comes out in a pack or whatever, an expansion pack or whatever, will you have to buy that will every one of your friends have to buy that new content to be able to play together? Because that's kind of what me and my buddy, like, we played Destiny, but it was just me and him. Nobody else wanted to pay the extra money to get, the new expansion. So it kind of died. Interest kind
No,
of died down.
I mean, to be fair, I do find Destiny 2 to be a fun game. And yes, it's a bit lackluster on the story, but the new expansion definitely solves a lot of that. But I think it's just like when Activision had the reign. Was it Activision who had the reins for a bit?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, yeah. Like they were the ones steering a lot of the steering how they really monetize the game, and separating the player experience between like who paid money and who didn't.
And I mean, yeah, Activision. There's another. Did you hear about those layoffs? That 800 plus people
Yeah,
were laid off?
800 plus people just because they're trying to cut costs, and supposedly they're still going to make games at the same pace. It's like not. I mean, I feel bad for the people that are being laid off, but then you also got to think the people who are still there, and now the extra workload that they have on their plate and the demand for new games.
Well, I mean, they pretty much left the development teams alone. Like, it was, I guess it was just, like customer service, IT, all the, pretty much they said
Okay, okay.
anything, pretty much they're like, okay, if they're not a developer and they're not tasked with making a game, we need to cut people in those departments.
Still though, 800 people though. I mean, that's
And
basically taking every branch that they have and just like removing like everyone who's not there, who's not a developer.
yeah, and this was they just hired a new head of marketing. I don't know the business jargon behind it.
Okay, okay, but we're getting away from talking about Anthem and everything. I'm like, yes, that's still a huge deal, but trying to stay a little bit on topic.
Well, I don't know what else to say about Anthem. I mean,
It's honestly a fun game. I've tried it out. The battles are actually like extremely tough. You actually feel like you have some pressure. I've tried it in normal mode. I've tried it in hard mode, and hard mode it definitely lives up to the name. And that was the one of the things that people came complaining about during the demo.
mm,
So it was really nice to see that they really addressed that.
yeah.
Because I tried going solo on hard mode, and it's damn near impossible.
I think with Anthem, it's really gonna be one of those things where we gotta wait it out and see. You know,
Hmm. Uh, the
I
only the only other thing they have to really work on is just um, when you're on the actual like main city in the game and everything, there's not a lot of interaction happening between like the local NPCs and everything. So a lot of
mm,
time it feels kind of dead. But that is something that they're working on, so that'll probably improve with time. So it's just a nitpick at this point.
yeah, it really is. I mean, I want it to be good. I do. I want it to be fun because I kind of like the open world, like flying exploration. It just, and from what I've seen, the world seems really pretty, and
Oh,
you know,
it's incredibly played, like incredibly open. As if they can get the flying right and just the long loading screens, because right now, basically everything in Anthem is a loading screen.
yeah.
Like going out of I can't even see the name right, but going out of the fort and everything, it's a loading screen. And going into a
Mm.
cave, it's a loading screen. Every single little thing in the game is a loading screen.
So it's not a seamless open world. It's kind of.
I'm not sure if they've addressed this or not just yet because I haven't seen the finished product they released just a couple of days ago.
I mean,
So
it is kind of weird to see a modern AAA game have like be segmented by loading screens. Like,
I think part of the problem is it almost seemed like the game was rendering everything at once instead of just what the player was seeing. So
mm,
it was adding a lot more like stress to the game than what was necessary.
Because, I mean, I might be showing my age here, but I remember playing EverQuest, and every new zone you actually had to have a loading screen. It wasn't like WoW, where everything is seamless, or Guild Wars, or anything like that. So, yeah, loading screens in this day and age just seem kind of. I don't know.
For something on a console, I'd say that's still somewhat normal. But to have a AAA game have like loading screens at almost any turn, that is actually pretty devastating to Anthem right now.
Yeah, it's going to take away from the experience. It's going to take you out of the experience. That's what loading screens do. They
I
kind
mean,
of take you out of the game, and that can be kind of a harsh thing for people because they like to be immersed in the game.
okay, I think we should probably wrap it up there. I'm honestly waiting to pick up Anthem. I'm gonna be upgrading my computer here in a little bit, and if they still have the deal that they're doing with the RTX 2060 that comes with Anthem, I'll probably be doing that. If not, I still buy it later in the month. But I'm actually hoping Anthem does well because it's definitely a world I want to experience. I mean, EA aside,
Mm.
they can go screw themselves, but I do want Anthem to do well.
Well, yeah, I do. I really want it to do well because it does seem like a fun game.
So, things to fix, just like better NPC experiences. They can allow them like their face is animated, but their body is not really doing anything.
Hmm.
So it feels like you're talking with a mannequin that's very has a lot of facial expressions, but that's about it. Let's see, the flying, that's still a little buggy where you feel drunk the entire time. And let's see, loading screens, and I think that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked this much into a pre-release game in a very long time. It's only because it's been in the news. It's been all over my YouTube feed. So
I mean, so far it's looking okay. There's plenty of people playing Anthem. It's just whether or not how well it does here in the next 3 months if it can really keep people engaged.
mhm.
All right, but I think we'll end it there. This has been two Aimless Geeks podcasts, and hopefully we'll do another one of these next week. Something a little bit more prepared.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
All right,
we're new to this, so
all right, everyone. This has been Gild Macus and Kin or Capo, as he might be calling himself soon. But don't forget to like, subscribe. Anything else you want to add, Adam?
like,
Kin.
subscribe, hit the bell, I guess. All that. Um, yeah, just share the video if you found it interesting, and we'd really appreciate it.
All right. Hopefully, we'll see all of you next week, and thanks for joining us. Bye.